Hello world. Today we have a special guest as we talk about marriage and money. Now it is quite important for us to be able to get to you about money. And yesterday we talked about arguments, and before that we talked about marriage and porn. And all are very, legitimate. Coach and I just, hey, excuse me, Mel, I'm making a video, please. Auditory. Yeah. But marriage and money. So we have a couple aspects that we need to address. First, when it comes to money, who should make it? Should I, as the man, should I make most of the money? Should we be more egalitarian where we both make money together? We always tell you the purpose at the beginning. The purpose of these videos is to help as many married couples as we can. Sharon and I are strong in this area as it relates to marriage. We're strong in the category of marriage. And so we've come together to make videos for people who we feel need them because one of our very close friends who we looked up to, they got a divorce, and it was like the straw that broke the camel's back for us. It hit us like we were their kids. Right. It hit us pretty hard. It was a blow. Right. And so we just decided, since we're strong in this area, let's go ahead and share what we have. So even if you don't need it, we actually share, especially if you are a part of our immediate family. We actually share because you might not be the person who needs the help, but I promise you somebody needs the help. So my perspective on money. See, I have a very, I guess, traditional perspective. I feel like the man is solely responsible for providing for his family. So that means that regardless of whether the woman works or not, that the man has the sole responsibility. Now, I'm actually in a situation where that hasn't always been our truth, but it's still my perspective as a man. So that means that if my wife, and now God has blessed us to where she's able to be a stay-at-home wife, and if the wife is able to work, that's fine. You know what I mean? But the man should work, and every situation is not the same. So I also realized that that's always not possible. I lived in Youngstown, Ohio, and the jobs there are pretty scarce. If you get a job at Walmart, you feel like I'm about to retire from here.
I'm moving on up.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not always possible to do, but that was my mentality coming in, and because I had that, or even have that mentality, now my wife being a stay-at-home mom with the children, I'm happy. Like, it makes me happier, and it makes me fulfilled. That doesn't mean that, and I don't mean to ramble, that she doesn't have a position, or she doesn't have access to the money either, because I'm not a hoarder of the money. As a matter of fact, I don't even handle the money in this house. I don't know what's going out. I only know what's coming in. She looks at the pay stub. She pays all the bills. I don't handle the actual money. I just make it.
So it's going to be different for each situation, each relationship. So you have to sit down and decide who's the best person to do everything. Because if you're not the good person, if you know you're not good with money, don't handle the money. Let the person who's good with money handle the money. So that might be the man in the case, and it might be the woman in the case. So sometimes we get like these stereotypes where the man has to make the money and has to handle the money. But there are plenty of marriages where the man stays at home and take care of the kids.
And I think that's cool.
Yeah, and the woman works. It just depends on the situation.
Right.
Maybe she's at the point where she's the breadwinner, she makes the bulk of the money, so it makes sense that she works, and she might like working. She might not, mind doing that. And then the guy stays home and he takes over the roles, raising the kids and cooking and doing those things. So it's a little different. So I think you have to do what works for you and your spouse. Don't get stuck in these roles that you should do, because that's not always true. And I know, like, some men, they'll go, well, I'm not washing my clothes. I'm not washing the dishes. That's woman's work. Who told you this?
Right.
Who told you these lies?
Right.
That's going to make an argument within your marriage, because it's whoever is available.
Right.
It's no like certain role, like gender role. So if you're available, you're off today, you see the clothes needs to be washed, wash the clothes.
Right.
So those things can prevent arguments and can make your relationship better overall, making your sex life better.
Oh, that's a good point, man.
It can. If your spouse isn't tired
Right.
at the end of the day, or if one person's doing everything, and then you expect them to have sex with you or spend extra quality time with you,
Right.
they're tired. It's not that they don't want to, they're just tired. So you have to take on some of these roles. So get back to the money.
Yeah, I do think, we have assigned certain gender roles. Like the man is to take out the trash, the woman is to do the dishes, and like she said, it's whoever is available. I had to overcome that mentality. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm still working. It's an evolution for me.
Right.
But she is right. Like, so I have to always acquiesce to the notion, man, she's right. Okay, you know what I mean? So I gotta fix whatever the problem is and try to move on. Because I realize, sometimes I be dead wrong. But in our marriage, my wife has this built-in forgiveness, and I'm so glad that she does. Because even when I'm wrong and dead wrong, I'm talking about, dead wrong, she still has the, capacity within herself to say, you know what, I'm just going to go do it. Because right now, I don't have the mentality to have to be arguing with you about, something so small. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So that's good. So I always, appreciate her perspective as it relates to that. You got to turn it around. Yeah, let her turn this around. Hold on, y'all. There you go. There you go. Okay. We got 2 cameras going, and we got to make sure that we look good. So excuse me. We'll try to edit this out for my viewers. Okay. So, I always appreciate your perspective on that. So, because first of all, we looked it up, and money is the number one reason why people get a divorce.
Right.
I would think it would be, for cheating.
Yeah.
Right. But it's not that. It's moolah, baby.
Because some people in certain countries, probably majority of countries, money is power.
Right.
And so a lot of people, they like to, like you said, if they're the main breadwinner, they like to control the money.
Yeah,
so,
and hold that over you. That's
right.
not cool, family.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Right. We still getting it. We should have got this together, huh, babe? Let's move this, and then this one will come over a little bit. And that's it. There you go.
So you can't do that. You have to. What's his is mine.
Literally.
What's mine is his.
Literally.
So like he said, I think in the last video, there's no extra accounts, no overseas accounts that I don't know about.
No credit cards that I applied for or she applied for that we don't know about.
We talk about everything before I make any big purchases, any big decisions. I either send him a text or we talk about it. If it's really big, we sit down and talk about it before we make a decision.
Don't be texting me about what's going to be for dinner. Just make it.
Right.
But if you don't be bringing no car and have it in the, look what I bought. to you bought that today with the money that we make? How?
Right.
And then to kind of piggyback on your point that you made earlier, I don't think it's cool for a woman by herself or whether I'm not going to ask my 6-figure wife to quit her job so I can go, stock cans at Walmart. I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense, because I have this, I'm a man, I got to be the one that's working. Listen, it's okay. It's okay. But you also have to fulfill the role that, is going to be left open if your wife is that person. Even at the beginning of our relationship, I didn't have a job all the time, but Siobhan's degree keeps her employed no matter what. She can not work for, years at a time, and the type of degree that she has, she can go and she will go right in to working again. So you have to know, I'm not going to ask her to quit a 6-figure job just so I can feel macho about myself. I feel like that doesn't make any sense. But also, you don't want the woman to feel like she's being used. You know what I mean? So you have to do the best that you can so she doesn't get that impression. You know what I mean? You want her to feel like, oh, he loves me. And, and because he loves me, I don't mind working. Just like as a man, I feel like now my wife is a stay-at-home mom. I feel like, I'm a man. Like, almost like this is the way it's supposed to be, even though we're talking about roles and how it's not supposed to be like that. I do feel good about the fact that, I'm working exclusively and she gets to stay at home with our children. What does that mean? That means that there are people who don't have, here you go. You got kids. Can you tell? They're crazy all the time. There you go. This one loves to eat. Yeah. So we just have to keep me on track, babe. Keep me on track, babe.
So in our instance, if I may share, I had just had a baby. We have a son, and then we have a daughter, an older daughter, and so it's 3 kids. And so anybody that knows to have kids and trying to work full time, It became overwhelming, and your body is still going through changes after having a baby, going through postpartum depression and different things like that, and dealing with a boss or a manager
who
over
don't
you
care about what your body going
it
through.
Becomes a lot, and so you need like a little break. And so I am thankful that he has allowed me to take that break, because some men, they don't understand, or they don't care to understand, and they feel like, go back to work and make that money, and they're not considerate, or willing to sacrifice so that you could get yourself better health-wise. And I am grateful that he has done that for me. So.
You got to be a whole person, and this is a journey. Like I've learned just from just living life that no job is guaranteed. Zero. If you didn't, even if you started it on your own, you know what I mean. That's just how life works. No job is guaranteed, but what is guaranteed is I'm going to come home to this young lady every night. And if I'm coming home to you, I don't want to come home to a half healthy you. I want to come home to a whole you. And for us, we had to make sure that we're, especially me in particular, that I'm always cognizant of your emotional, of your physical, of your spiritual health. I have to be consciously aware. And the only way I can do that is by thinking about you.
Right.
Thinking about you. I think about my wife. I think about my wife. I think so often we use the word pray. But prayer is, you don't pray with your tongue, with just you pray with your mind.
Right.
I put my mind on my wife. I make sure that I'm constantly thinking about her. Like, oh man, I noticed that she was a little bit extra crazy yesterday. Like, she already regular crazy, but yesterday she was just a little extra. I said, that job is stressing her out. And Sharon comes with an army. Like, if it's somebody who's doing damage to her, I'm an army. You got to come. You got to see me. But I feel like I'm not going to jail. So I want you to just put in your 2 weeks, and you can, take some time to heal and become whole again. And that did a few things for us. Number one, because her income was missing, and we have to now acquiesce. We don't mind eating beans and rice.
That's what I was going to say. So, ladies, if your spouse or whoever, if it's the guy, if your spouse is already sacrificing to do this, you got to sacrifice on your end. So no more getting my hair done, nails done, going out to eat. I'm now cooking at home. I'm watching, my grocery bill, how much I'm spending there. I set a budget aside. So it's a big sacrifice if you do this.
It is. It's a huge sacrifice. But like I said, you also got to realize that if I'm not healthy and whole, my behaviors are going to reflect that. So us going out to eat all the time is really not a healthy behavior, even if you do have the discretionary income to do so, because you could be putting that money somewhere else, and it could be, getting a dividend for you. So I feel like you have to be aware of your situation, and you really can't even control anything or heal anything that you're not thinking about. I have to think about this. I have to sit down and think about it. One of my favorite quotes from Einstein, it's not even a quote, but I listened to one of his videos, and he was saying, some people, like, he sit down as a nuclear physicist and he just thought. He said, I wasn't asleep, I wasn't reading, I wasn't watching, anything. I just was thinking. I was sitting there and I was thinking, and that's when he came up with E equals MC squared. He was just thinking. So you do need a time to be able to gather your thoughts And, you know, after thoughts come emotions now. They call the intelligent management of emotions civilization. So we live in civilization. And so if you do not manage your emotions because you're not taking the time out to think, you will feel uncivilized. And I understand that feeling. I understand what it's like to feel like you're broken in pieces and feel like if something don't happen now, then I don't know how, am I going to be a bum? Like, am I going to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want my kids to see me, you know what I mean, anything less than healthy. So I'm glad that we have a partnership where we're able to say, okay, you take it off. I realize you need it. Just take it off. We already talked about that. Now, my friend did bring up a very good point. He brought up, as it relates to money, he brought up, and I'm pretty sure because he gave us the idea, I got to give him credit for it. And let me see the idea. Where's the idea?
Gambling.
Yeah.
Gambling.
Who gave us this idea, babe?
Dante.
Hey, Dante. How are you? I'm sorry in my mind. But, so now he said gambling. There was problems with gambling, drugs, and with money. See, gambling, drugs, and what else? Alcohol.
Alcohol.
Those things take money out of your home. Mm-hmm. They take money out of your home, right? So that, just taking the money out of your home is the first problem that you have to deal with. And remember, money is the number one reason why people are not together anymore.
Especially if you're doing it for those things. They're not important things that's required to survive.
But then there's an addiction problem.
Right.
So we can't really even address the money problem because the money, in my opinion, or you having that problem is a byproduct of your addiction.
Right.
So you got to address your addictions. And we talked about porn yesterday and how it has effect on your dopamine receptors. Well, so does gambling, and so does alcohol and drugs. If you know you need some help. And this ain't funny, so we don't want to make no joke out of it. Go seek some help, man. Gambling is a real thing. I remember when I first moved here, I went to the casino. I loved to play poker, and I love to smoke cigars and have fun. You know what I mean? So I'm playing poker, and it's only $30 to play. So you can.
That's how they get you.
Right, it's $30 to play.
It's only $30.
It's on the weekend. I'm gonna go play. Well, one time I lost $600. $600, and I was like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do? And I, as I walked out of the building, I said, God, release this from me. I don't want to do this no more. Because 600, even if I was gonna blow it, I could have blew it on some clothes, or I could have blew it on some J's, which would have still been
just as bad.
It's
all bad.
Right, because you're a shopping addiction.
If you're not, it's not buying stuff that's bad. It's about having control. So
right.
You need a budget for that. So we probably get into more financing in another topic, but you have to budget for those things.
Right.
And it also has to be discussed with your other half. So, and then everyone has different things. So yours might not be gambling. Like, I don't have a actual gambling, but I do have an issue with food. Like, believe it or not, I'm small, but I like to go and buy expensive food, if that makes sense, and eat out a lot. Right. That's my addiction. Right. And that costs a lot of money. So that's something that I struggle with, and I'm trying to get together currently. So
if you go look at your finances and you spend $10 a day at lunch for work, and I want to get back to my gambling story, but if you spend $10 a day, or even let's say $5 a day at lunch, and you work 5 days a week, and it's 4 days, that's 20 times 5, which is what, baby? Come on, quick math. 20 times 5, 50. It must be 100. That's $100. That's $100 that you're spending on lunch per month, and that's crazy. That's insane. When you could take that same $100. And if you're resourceful, you can make that work for the whole month for food.
Right.
For especially a family of 4, for real.
Especially if you have children, like, it's a sacrifice. It's definitely a sacrifice. So I might not be able to go out. You know what I mean? It's going to make more sense to cook at home.
And stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. We don't even know them. Like, for real. Like, you might see us. We got a nice crib, and we got a decent car, and You might feel like there are some people who legitimately feel like we're rich. Like, I be looking at them like, if you think I'm rich, you must be really poor. Like, and poor is a mentality, of course, but I'm certainly not rich. What I have tallied up the cost. Like, even when we purchased our home, Sharon and I were working vigorously to save up. I think it was 10 or 15 grand. To have the crib, and God worked it out to where we didn't even need that much money.
Right.
He ended up working it out. Like,
right.
We didn't even need that much, and the equity in our home has gone up tremendously. Like,
right.
So I feel like you got to have some common sense. So yeah, so I walked out of the casino, and I haven't lost that story. I walked out of the casino, and I just put my head down. I was ashamed, and I think it took that, and I haven't been back since. So I understand, like, the thrill of being able to beat another person at a game, being able to walk out actually, because I lost 600, but one day I had 111. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh man. So, but going up and down, I kind of realized, like, this ain't for me.
Not healthy.
I don't have 6 to lose. I don't have it to do that. I don't have it. I could have painted my upstairs, and it needs painted right now. Like, I don't have that to do. So it just doesn't make any sense. So we got some material, like some, because some people like to read books,
right.
And that's cool. You feel me? The number one book I'm going to tell you to read is by my man Robert Kiosaki.
Yes.
I don't know if you wrote that down or not,
I
but
didn't.
Kiosaki is the reason that we purchased this home. No, he's not there. Susie Orman is the reason why we purchased the home, because we realized that we were in a financial position to do so. And in the living position that we were in, it made the most sense.
Right.
So it made the most sense to purchase the home at the time that we did. But Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, we read that together, and we are implementing the steps in our lives to become financially free. What do I mean by that? I mean that, my bills will be able to be paid even if I stop working. That's what we're in hot pursuit of. Because, like we said at the beginning, no job is guaranteed.
Right.
You could lose your job because another company purchased them. You could be the greatest employee of all time.
Right.
And another employee or another, a parent company could purchase your company, and they just fire you. They don't need you. They just fire you. Like, you didn't do nothing wrong in that instance, but you got fired. So don't depend on other sources of money. You need mad sources of income in order to be the best you that you could possibly be. You need multiple sources of income, and that's the only way you can really be successful. What are some other books, babe?
Money and Marriage by Matt Bell is one book, and then Money Problems and Marriage Solutions by Chuck Bentley is another book. So.
You can check those out. But my man, Kiosaki, I like him because you can check his videos out. I am a reader. But I think that's one of the worst ways to learn, honestly. So
these
you can,
books might be available in audio. I'm not for sure, but you could just type in audio behind that, and it'll let you know. Most books now are available in audio, and I'm pretty sure they have some type of YouTube you can look up as well if you don't like to do reading. But I listen to Robert Kiosaki.
Yes.
I listen to him on the way to work.
That's my man.
Over and over. That helped me get through my work day.
Yes.
Because I dread going to work every morning. But I would put that on or some type of inspirational till I got to the point where I'm able to do this, be at home. Mm-hmm. But I would put that on every morning, and that would help me get through my day. So try to start off with something positive to help you.
Kiosaki is a legitimate source. Like, his mentality takes you from poverty, because poverty is a mentality.
Right.
And I would say it's a psychosis. It's not just a mentality, but it's a psychosis. So poverty is a mentality, and he has the winning mentality. So even if you have to take steps, right? But you have to have a base bottom belief that you can in yourself. Because if you don't have that base bottom belief, my friend, you are in poverty. Your mentality is in poverty. That's exactly the poverty mentality that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times, because we've been taught to be so spiritual, which is okay, nothing wrong with that. And a lot of times it be people. It don't be the leadership. It just be people who half sleep in church, who don't come, who don't have an understanding of their money, who just, they feel like, oh, what the pastor said to give $50, but you didn't listen to the entire message before he said that. You just doing what you want to do, like. You know what I mean? So it's no blame on the leadership. It's really, everybody need to take their responsibility for themselves,
right, and
say, hey, I'm going to put my mind to my money, and I'm going to come up with a strategy so that I can be able to come. And we've been successful. Like, even in the neighborhood that we live in, I think my youngest neighbor is like 53. And we've been living here since we've been 28, 29 years old. Right. And it's because of the mentality that Kiosaki gave us. Right. And not just that, I have other mentors.
A lot of financial books and just inspirational books to help build your mind, because you can read financial books, but if you don't have the mindset to go with it, you won't understand. You need both. You need to strengthen your mind as well as read extra books that give you ideas and different things like that. So,
if you want to be wealthy, study wealth. If you want to be successful, study success. If you want to be in great shape, study fitness. That's how it works. And people just don't want to study. And now, it's 2017. You don't even have to read no more. Like, everything is a video. All of this, even our marriage, this is basically a seminar. Like, this is a video. You can watch it and really get some pragmatic truths that can legitimately help you in your walk, in your marriage. The purpose of these videos, and before we leave here, is so that we can help. Sharon and I are strong in this area of marriage. And we also like to speak to our demographic, the millennial demographic, because we've noticed that people have been, engaged for 150 million years and never settle, never marry each other, or they be married for a long time, and we look up to them, and out of nowhere, it's like, how are you divorced? What happened? There was a couple, we always say this, that we looked up to. We never put their name out there. We would never do that. That we looked up to, and they were married, and big house and cars, and they were in our from outside looking in. This was what we looked up to. And they got the divorce. So we started realizing maybe we should share our strength to strengthen other people. So we always ask that you share, even if you personally don't need the advice. We ask for you to share it because somebody needs it. Somebody needs to hear my perspective, because I have a cocktail of comedy as well as an intellect. And my wife brings a heart that people like to listen to. So just share it, like it, and share it, and come back. So today's video was about money, and it was about, our perspective on money and marriage. And so we gave you some resources. We gave some ideas, and we try to show you, how what we've used has been successful for us. We talked about the word equity in one of the other videos. Our equity in our home has gone up probably since we purchased it, at least, I would say last time I checked it was like 40%, and we've only been living here for 3 years. I think this is the third or fourth year. Yeah. So we made a good decision. We got the best. We got the least expensive house in a great neighborhood. Right. And I would not have known to do that had I not tapped into, the mentality of some of the resources that I gave you earlier. I would have blindly, God chose that house for me. He's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So you have to bring your mind to your money. Your mind, you have to think. And we also talked about gender roles as it relates to money and marriage. My wife is a stay-at-home wife, and she's only staying at home right now so that she can take care of our children. We have young children, and then just to be more holistic, having a mental, spiritual, and physical health about herself. And so I make the money, but she is the manager of the money. I literally I asked her, I said, baby, I'm getting ready to spend $2 on this. Is it okay for me to spend it? And she has the answers for me. She's the one who's like, okay. Now, before we go, we also want couples to help us. I think we're going to have some successful couples help us. If you've been married for a while, there's likely a perspective that you have that somebody is suffering in silence. Somebody who is suffering in silence, and you know what I mean, hate their wife. Get home from work. They'll get home from work and sit in the driveway a whole nother hour. You know what I mean? I don't even want to walk in this door, and I don't do this once or twice. This is a regular, you know what I mean? This person is suffering in silence, and they don't have to do that. You know what I mean? And we'll talk about infidelity, even though Sharon and I are not strong in that area. You know what I mean? We're not strong in infidelity, but we are strong in faithfulness toward each other. So we can talk about that too. So if you, we would like for you, of course, to inbox us. You can inbox either me or Sharon. We would never put your business out. Even if you don't tell me not to do that, I can read what you inbox and say, oh no, this is not to be shared. We have good common sense like that. Yeah, we have good common sense like that. So if you do want to do that and create a perspective, before we go, let's say bye to the bill. All the time. All the time. All the time. Come on, little Dave. Say bye bye.
Little Dave.
Say bye bye. You say bye bye.
Bye.
I'm eating chips.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Okay. So we love you guys, and until next time, peace.